In the darkest, most crushing corners of the ocean, a creature evolved to hunt with weapons no other mammal possesses. Amplifying sound into a 230 decibel shockwave, its enormous head a living sonar cannon. Every time a sperm whale dives to 2 kilometers deep, it becomes deadlier, but the price is written into scarred bones and damaged blood vessels. Proof that nature's most extreme predators pay for their power in flesh and bone. Why did evolution forge such lethal brilliance, only to let it carry an invisible cost? The answer lies in the abyss. At a depth of 1,000 meters, sunlight vanishes. The ocean becomes a black, pressurized void where few mammals have ever ventured. Here, every square centimeter of a whale's body is pressed by more than 100 times the force felt at the surface. At 2,000 meters, the pressure climbs to nearly 200 atmospheres, enough to collapse a human lung in seconds. This is the world where sperm whales hunt, a world where the rules of biology are rewritten by necessity. The temperature plunges near freezing, and the darkness is absolute. Beyond 700 meters, even the faintest blue wavelengths are gone. Eyesight becomes useless. Prey, like the giant squid, drift through this midnight zone, invisible to anything that relies on vision. For a predator to survive here, it must abandon the tools that serve most mammals and invent new ways to sense, move, and kill. A sperm whale's body is built for these extremes. Their lungs are collapsible, ribcage flexible, and blood carries oxygen reserves that dwarf those of any land animal. But the most striking adaptation is their head, a massive structure that can make up 1/3 of their total length. This anatomical investment is not for display, but for survival. The whale's skull and the organs it houses are engineered to withstand crushing pressure that would shatter bone in less specialized animals. Every dive is a test of limits. The descent alone takes the whale through a gradient of pressure that would destroy most creatures. In less than 15 minutes, a sperm whale moves from the sunlit surface to depths where the water above weighs as much as a small building. At these depths, the animal's heart rate slows, blood flow is rerouted, and every cell must function in a world starved of light and oxygen. The abyss forces radical solutions. To hunt in total darkness and survive the weight of the ocean, sperm whales have become something almost alien. Their existence in this environment is not a triumph of comfort, but of relentless adaptation. The price of entering this world is steep, and every feature of the whale's body tells the story of a life lived on the edge of possibility. The head of a sperm whale is an engineering marvel, an anatomical fortress built for sound. Nearly 1/3 of the whale's body length is devoted to this structure, dominated by the spermaceti organ, a chamber filled with up to 2 tons of waxy oil. This organ acts as a biological sound cannon. When the whale hunts, it generates a click by snapping specialized connective tissue known as the monkey lips. The sound wave travels backward through the spermaceti organ, a distance of 55 centimeters, before ricocheting off air sacs at the rear of the head. In 0.8 milliseconds, the pulse is reflected forward, funneled through another fatty structure called the junk, and projected into the water as a tightly focused beam. These clicks are not just loud, they are the loudest biological sounds on Earth, reaching up to 230 decibels underwater. That's powerful enough to carry for kilometers, but within a 5-meter wide beam, the intensity can stun or even kill prey outright. The geometry of the spermaceti organ, with its precise dimensions and gradients in tissue density, tunes and amplifies these clicks with surgical precision. The whale's head is asymmetrical by design. The right nasal passage is dedicated entirely to sound production, while the left handles breathing. This separation allows the whale to keep hunting even as it surfaces for air. Once a prey animal, often a giant squid, registers in the whale's acoustic field, a second adaptation comes into play. Sperm whales possess 70 conical teeth in a jaw reinforced to withstand massive forces. They don't bite in the traditional sense. Instead, they use powerful suction, created by retracting the tongue and expanding the throat, to vacuum prey straight into the mouth. This feeding mechanism is so effective that even large, slippery squid cannot escape once caught in the whale's acoustic crosshairs. Every aspect of the whale's head is shaped by the arms race of the deep. The spermaceti organ channels energy into a weaponized click. The jaw and throat turn sound into a physical capture. In the darkness, where vision fails, the sperm whale's head becomes both the spear and the net. These specializations have made the sperm whale the apex hunter of the abyss, able to find and subdue prey in a world where most mammals could not even survive. Deep inside the body of a sperm whale, the toll of each dive accumulates in silence. Bones that once seemed unbreakable begin to show hairline cracks, microfractures invisible to the naked eye, but unmistakable in high-resolution CT scans. These fissures often run along the ribs and vertebrae, where the forces of repeated compression and decompression are at their greatest. Over years, the cycle of descent and ascent leaves its mark, not as a single catastrophic break, but as a slow erosion of strength. The blood vessels fare no better. Under immense pressure, nitrogen dissolves into the whale's tissues. During ascent, if the rise is too rapid or the dive profile too erratic, nitrogen can come out of solution, forming tiny bubbles. These bubbles lodge in the delicate lining of blood vessels, the endothelium, causing microscopic lesions. Pathologists have measured nitrogen concentrations in stranded whales as high as 0.08 moles per liter, a level that points to significant gas loading. While the whale's anatomy is built to minimize this risk, the system is not perfect. Each bubble can trigger local inflammation, or in severe cases, block blood flow to bone or muscle, starving tissue of oxygen. The result is a form of internal wear that rarely surfaces in the living animal. Only after death, or in the aftermath of a stranding, do the patterns become clear. Chevron bones pitted with necrosis, ribs showing signs of chronic stress, and blood vessels marked by the scars of repeated insult. These injuries do not halt a whale's ability to hunt or reproduce in the short term, but they accumulate year after year, a record of every journey into the deep. The invisible cost of being the ocean's most formidable hunter is written into the very structure of the whale's body. On a cold January morning in 2016, the tide carried a group of young male sperm whales onto the North Sea coast. Necropsy teams moved quickly, slicing through blubber to reach what the living animal could never reveal. Beneath the skin, the lower jaw bore scars up to 12 centimeters long, evidence of past battles with giant squid, but also of blunt trauma and repeated stress. Deeper still, the ribs showed patches of osteonecrosis, bone tissue starved of blood, dying cell by cell. Pathologists trace these lesions to the relentless cycle of deep dives and rapid ascents. In one whale, the pattern was unmistakable: a dive to 2,400 meters, a 48-hour drift near the surface, and then stranding, its body unable to recover from the internal damage. Shane Giro's Caribbean fieldwork adds another layer. His long-term catalog, known as the AHAB dataset, tracks living whales over decades. Photographs and drone footage reveal a lifetime of accumulating scars, jaw asymmetries, and healed wounds. Each mark is a chapter in a story of survival, but also a record of mounting physical cost. Some individuals, like the bull, known as Ahab, display jaw deformities so pronounced that feeding becomes a daily challenge. Yet these same whales often hold dominant positions within their social groups. Hal Whitehead's demographic analysis brings the evolutionary calculus into sharp relief. His data show that males who push the limits, those with the most pronounced damage, enjoy a 30% increase in mating success compared to their less scarred peers. But the trade-off is stark. Their average lifespan drops by nearly 20%. Natural selection does not reward longevity for its own sake. As long as a whale can dive, hunt, and reproduce, the cost of broken bones and failing organs is paid in full. The deadliness of the sperm whale is inseparable from the price exacted by the deep. Right now, sperm whales still dive beyond human limits, pushing biology to its breaking point for survival. Their struggle exposes evolution's trade-offs, raising urgent questions as human technology edges into the deep. Nature's arms race always comes with a cost. The ocean never gives up its secrets for free.